Hello guys, welcome back, and today it's team building 101. So what does that mean? Basically, we're going to learn today and try to understand a little bit better how to build a team in Reverse 1999. First of all, your team is composed by 4 characters. 3 are active and 1 is going to be a support character. Is going to like wait outside and wait until someone dies and then they're going to jump in. So that character has to be either a DPS or a flex. Flex means that it could be a support hybrid DPS, so that way they come back and they maybe help and salvage the situation. If you're like someone is dying, the situation is not perfect, right? So you're not having a good time in the combat, in the fight. So those 3 characters plus 1/4. So the first 3 characters, that's the one that you have to focus on, right? So in theory, now, you're not going to be able to do this perfectly because like we are still lacking a little bit of character synergies. Like there's not an option for every single scenario. For example, Druvis doesn't have a specific leaf mental setup with each, like Druvis DPS, debuffer, there is one, but there is no healer, for example. There's no mental healer that is leaf that I know of, because I think Sotheby is reality. So you're gonna have to lose there a little bit of damage, which is not a big deal. But let's just keep in mind that you cannot do, for now, you cannot do every single character in their perfect min-maxed team, right? So going back to the topic, you will have, in theory, you want to get one team, mono team, each element ready to go. So that way, if you're fighting, let's say, if you're fighting beast, you want to build mineral. If you're fighting a leaf, you want to build beast. So so and so on until you have all 4 teams. Now, occult and holy, or whatever it's called, intellect. It's a little bit harder, so we're not going to touch on that. And this is not the video about it. I'm going to make a video about all the teams, the best teams that you can do for every element. We're going to go over it, but today is team 101. So after you choose which element you want, sometimes you have to do a kind of an hybrid, because not every time you are focusing on one team that only has one element. Most of the times you have multiple elements on the enemy team. There's like 2 guys that are like, let's say, mineral, and 1 guy is beast, right? So at that point, you want to understand which character is flexible, which character can be merged and mixed, which character or which elements you can use to mix and match and get the perfect counter attack to whatever the enemy team element mix is, right? So first of all, you choose a DPS. You choose a DPS and you build around it, regardless. So let's assume, let's pick, for example, the starter 6-star that we're gonna choose, either Eternity, Lilia, or Regulus. So you pick one of those, pick one DPS. What element is this? What do they do? How to bring out their most potential? How to do that? How to protect them if they remove their own HP? How do we protect them? For example, Eternity. How do we bring high crit rate, like Lilia, for example, right? So after you think about it, then you go to a list of characters and you start searching. So now we need a DPS, we got a DPS. Now we need a support hybrid DPS that is gonna deal a little bit of damage and either debuff or buff us, or debuff the enemy, or give a little bit of more damage to the main damage dealer, or do some weird mechanic, like for example Leilani that has different mechanics that add moxies, right, to a caster or to a character of your choice, or everybody on their I1, right? So after you get the DPS, the support hybrid DPS, and then you get a defensive unit. So it could be a healer, it could be a crazy tank, it could be a crazy shielder. So for example, Sotheby is going to be your healer, or maybe Tooth Fairy, or New Babel. Whatever you want to do. You can also use Balloon Party. There's a lot of healers that are pretty much interchangeable, because they don't have many. I believe none of them have a direct a direct approach to like either only beast or like only this element or only mental or only you lose you lose the damage if they are, you lose a little bit of damage if they are mental and you're mental, right? So that you lose a little bit there, but when it comes to kit, the kit works on every healer, so you can use mostly pretty much every healer in the game and you'll be fine. So after you do that, at this point now we have to start to cater towards the DPS that we're using. So that way, even if we can't stay on the same element, we need to bring in someone that fills the role, even if it's on a different element, as long as they're flexible. I have made a list that I'm not going to show because in this list there's also other information that I don't know if they're accurate yet because I'm still studying the case. So, but I have made a list of characters that are, in my opinion, flexible, and you can put them whenever. And the only thing they're going to lose is a little bit of debuffs here and there. They still works. They lose, of course, a little bit, or some of them. Some are like perfectly flexible. For example, Diggers here. Diggers is really flexible because his debuff is for both reality and mental damage, so you're not going to lose his debuff. While on other characters, like for example, I believe Baby Blue, she's only debuffing on the attack level 2. She only debuffs on the mental. She gets like, let me check here because I'm still trying to learn everything. Here it's like a mental defense minus 25% for the target. So if you're using her on another team that it's like reality, you have to use her because like that's the only one that you have at the moment, right? You don't have another DPS, let's say, because at that point you are missing this part, right? You're missing this part, but it's not that big of a deal because you're still getting damage taken plus 15, damage minus 15, mass debuff, right? This is global, so it's gonna affect either mental and reality. When it comes to, for example, characters like Sotheby, let's say, I don't know where she is, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna filter out. For characters like Sotheby, it's really even better as a healer, for example, because we talked about the healer being flexible and you're just using the fact that if they are reality or mental, right? In this case, since a little bit of her damage comes from poison stacks doesn't deal reality or mental damage. Poison stacks deal Genesis damage. Genesis damage is basically, it says here, Genesis damage is basically true damage. It goes beyond resistances for reality and mental. It just does the amount that it has to do, and that's it. So there's no way of mitigating it with like reality or mental resistance, right? So that's going to be one of the reasons why some characters are really, really good when it comes to flexibility. And some of them should be the go-to when it comes to choosing a fourth character, because after you made the team, you have your DPS, you have the support hybrid DPS that is helping a little bit in damage, and it's also applying debuffs. For example, even there's another example, Beacon Bloom. You're gonna lose a little bit of here reality defense. If they're mental, you're gonna use a little bit, 15% reality defense. This is down the drain, but they still do damage taken plus 15%. So yeah, after get DPS, support DPS, and then you get the healer. After you get that, on the fourth slot, on the flex spot, you can put another DPS if you want. You can put another healer if you're not using a healer, but you're using like let's say you're using let's say Balloon Party, right? If you're using Balloon Party and she dies, you put Sotheby, or like vice versa, you put like Balloon Party in case Sotheby dies. For example, maybe you don't have Sotheby that geared up yet. Maybe she has low HP, you didn't have enough materials, whatever. It could be anything, because we don't know who are we gonna get from the pools, how lucky are we gonna get, which character we're gonna end up with, especially 5 and 4 stars. how many copies of each. So it's going to be really important understanding which character is a flex character, which character is more universal. I like to call them transcendent characters because they transcend the roles and they transcend what they're supposed to be, right? And they can work on everything. And also sounds cool, right? So after you made your team in your mind. Now we get into a more interesting topic, which is how many characters you should focus on. I would say do not focus on more than maybe 8 characters, like 2 teams of 3+1, 3+1, 2 flexes, and a team of something and a team of something. I wouldn't necessarily build every like those team. No, don't build too many of the same element. If you can do that, if they're like interchangeable, do not build all of them. Let's say if you have Eternity and Sonetto, right? You don't need to build another, if you can avoid it, you don't need to build Balloon Party. If you have Sotheby, build Sotheby, because Sotheby can work with Eternity and Sonetto, let's say, and at the same time, when you go do another team, she can flex, she can transcend and go help your second team. Or there was just an example with Sotheby, but if you're using like Dicke, for example, you can build Dicke. Depends on which character you're building. When it comes to DPS, only build 1 6-star. I would at first, the first like 4 days, right? I would build like only 1 6-star, which is the one that you got, and well, maybe two max. Your banner, starting banner, and whatever you're pulling. If you're pulling for Sotheby, or if you get another 6-star somewhere by being lucky, it depends on who they are. But if they're really good, you should build them all, and then the others try to be less intense with materials. So you can use lower star characters. For example, Apple is a decent healer when it comes to like the first part of the campaign. For example, you can use Apple on chapter 2, chapter 3 maybe, right? And being less stars, they need less materials, so it's going to be a little bit easier to build them and to upgrade them because they need less stuff. So that way you can do a little budget starting zone, and from that point on, more and more you start building up, and you get your characters in. For example, Eagle is a good character that you can use up until endgame if you want. She's a good DPS. Apple, decent healer / DPS, the buffs a little bit. Baby Blue is good when it comes to 4 stars, right? Bunny is good. Eagle is good. Mondlik is a good DPS. Mosan is good for like shielding, and she also freezes on the ult. Oliver Fogg, Pavia is a DPS. He also self heals. So if you need a beast DPS, you can use him as a placeholder until you wait for like either Melania or Centurion, something like that. So Rabe is another good DPS. So you can chill a little bit. Only build the characters that are like really, really powerful, and you want to build them into endgame, especially when it comes to Eternity. She needs the I3 as soon as possible. She gets like really, really, really good on I3. You can probably solo stuff with her if you build her like in a crazy way. I don't know if it's whale territory when it comes to soloing stuff, but even then, I feel like it's a pretty good approach. Sonetto is really good. Just build her. She's also a 5-star. She's gonna need a little bit less, especially on her. You don't need insight, right? You need a little bit of insight because like you get a little more damage up when you're buffed. Like after you buff, you get a plus 15% damage dealt, right? So for Sonetto, it's you can do at least I1 and then you can chill. You do need to level them up higher and higher the more you go with the on the campaign, but at the same time, depending on the characters that you're choosing, it might be just worth doing that. Also, like on day 1, just focus on like 7-8 characters, depending on which characters you got. Try to make a team that has a DPS, a support / DPS help, and a defender, healer, shielder, which is that's more mega powerful. Let's say you get Miss Babel, for example. You can use Miss Babel as instead of a healer if you want. It should be doable because she has a taunt, and a counter. She has like a big. I believe she has also a shield. Where the hell is she? She's mineral? There you go, Miss Babel, for example. She has taunt and fanged partner, which is a riposte, right? And when you attack, when they have to attack her because she's taunt, so it's in a way is healing you. In a way, she's healing you, because if you don't get hit, it's basically as the same value as getting a heal to full, right? Also, I think it's even better than a heal. So if they just don't attack you, just attack her, right? She gets like reality. She does damage equals to her reality death. So that's it. And then you get shield from the buff, a new wave buff. You get mass shield for 2 rounds, and if you're attacking while you have a shield, you get +1 moxie, which goes towards the building of the building of the 5 moxies for the ult, so you can taunt again, right? And also, if you're running Leilani, you can spam that. Now, I don't know if there's any characters compared to, like, when it comes to 4 stars that you get during the start of the game, you will get Apple for free, Eagle for free. Let's do. Is that it? Any 4-star. Yeah, okay. So you get Apple for free, Eagle for free. Leilani is a 3-star, sadly, but she has a really interesting kit. For example, when you enter the battle on I1, you +1 for all allies, and additionally Moxie +1 for the caster, which is her, and that goes towards her ult. Her ult is a mass attack, doesn't deal too much reality damage to all enemies, but it's Moxie +1 for other allies. So that way you can probably use her to cheese some ult for someone else. To cheese, it's like a strat, right? So she has value, even though I wouldn't build her to end game. Like, I wouldn't build her besides I1, to be honest. Even if she has to die, you can put her as a placeholder, and then put her as like a character that does her gimmick, and then they die. And after they die, they get replaced by the jolly character, the extra character, the supporter character that was waiting. That's the good one. So you put Leilani, that's just an idea. You put Leilani in the middle, and then she die. After she does like a little bit of Moxie, everybody has their Moxie up. She she inevitably dies, and at that point you switch them with the good one, right? With like a good DPS, the good support, or I don't know, whatever role she was doing. There are some 3 stars that you can use for healing, like for example La Source. It's not that bad, but it's a 3-star. So there's like pro and cons. The pros are that are easy to build, and because they don't need too many materials, but the cons is they're a 3-star, right? So they're probably not gonna deal too much damage, not gonna heal too much. But looking at the modifiers here on the healing, it's caster attacks times 80% for all allies, and then you have damage bonus time -20%, damage taken reduction -20 after casters enter battle. Of course, as you can see, as the 3 stars, they only go up to 2, so there's not much they can do. But there's probably going to be a really easy to get them to higher portrait, right? So keep an eye on those, because you're going to get a lot of bonuses on those 3-star characters really easily. So you can probably get them to a really good point where they can help and do like a little bit of placeholder action, right? So I think we said everything. I don't think there is anything else to do. A little wrapping it up. Build around 7-8 characters. Try to build characters that can work in other situations besides their perfect one. Try to build only 1, max 2 for the time being, when, like, let's say the first week, when it comes to 6 stars, only build your 6-star that you wanted to get from the beginner banner, and then whoever else you build, you might get if you get a second one, or if you pull on whoever the first rate up banner is. It could be Sotheby. If it is Sotheby and if you're pulling for her, then she might be worth raising up as along the other 6-star that you got. So get those 2 up, and then let's try to build a team of 1 team, and then a secondary team plus 2 flexes, or just one flex that goes and interchanges, or the less characters that you build, the better it is. So it depends on who you get, right? So one DPS, one support slash DPS that does like either debuffs or buffs or a little bit of shielding or a little bit of like moxie depletion or something like that, or maybe a daze, something like that. And a healer, shielder, tanker, taunter, whatever you want, whatever you end up with. For example, if you get Miss Babel, you can use that, right? So yeah, I don't think there is anything else to specify when it comes to building a character. I don't think there is anything else besides the resonate, which is very, 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 very important. The Psycube, which is very important, and just level them up. And yeah, but that's probably from another video, right? It's probably another video kind of situation. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you would want to see more, if you want to lose your opportunity of gazing upon the amazing content that I publish on my channel about Reverse 1999, then subscribe, because that helps a lot. It helps a lot if you subscribe. Keep that in mind. I would really appreciate it, a little sub, right? So thank you for watching, and see you next time.